A royal commentator has revealed what she believes is Prince Harry's strategy to paint King Charles as the villain. This time, however, Prince William is reportedly refusing to ignore it. The confusion surrounding Harry's visit to the United Kingdom was not simply a misunderstanding. Stay with us until the end to see how Prince Harry allegedly attempted to present the king as a father who does not care about his own son or his grandchildren.
Positioning King Charles as the bad guy because Harry's father of the year. He wants to bring the kids over because the kids really want to see the UK. But, you know, if things don't work out, it's because of his mean dad. And that's just not reality.
Kinsey Schofield has revealed what she believes was Prince Harry's plan, drawing on years of experience covering the royal family. She regularly interviews Tom Bower and is often among the first media figures to discuss his latest investigations and newly published books. According to Kinsey, when Harry announced that he would be traveling to the United Kingdom for Invictus Games preparations and rehearsals, very few people treated it as a major surprise because everyone already knew the games would be held in Birmingham and that he would eventually need to be there. She then questioned whether the real purpose of the visit was something entirely different, saying that if she were part of the Invictus organization, she would be extremely frustrated because Harry was supposed to be in the UK promoting next year's Birmingham Games. She then raised the question of whether the entire situation was actually an attempt to make his father appear uncaring.
I'm Invictus. I'm livid because he's supposed to be coming over here to promote 1 year to Invictus, the big Birmingham Games next year. Is this all a ploy to make his father look bad, to manipulate his father to feel obligated to show up next year united with Harry at the Games, which I've heard forever is Harry's ultimate objective, to get that, you know, royal seal of approval by having members of his family at the Games.
When Harry realized that the announcement was not creating the kind of headlines he had hoped for, he reportedly took things a step further by revealing that Meghan and their children would also be traveling with him to the United Kingdom. With that announcement, Harry allegedly attempted to attract as much media attention as possible while also creating public sympathy. Many people have been asking the same question. Why was Harry trying to shape the story from the very beginning, making it appear as though the people of the United Kingdom owed him?
Are set to bring their children to the UK for the first time in years.
Kinsey argued that Harry never truly intended to bring his family to the United Kingdom. Instead, she believes he always planned to travel alone but allowed speculation about Meghan and the children to continue because it created more publicity and public sympathy. According to Kinsey, Harry knew from the beginning that they would not be making the trip, yet he allowed the uncertainty to remain. That raises an obvious question. Why let an entire week of speculation continue if the outcome had already been decided? In Kinsey's view, it was all part of a strategy to generate as much attention as possible around his visit.
Just say he's been using those kids as emotional blackmail, trying to get Charles to stick his nose in and change that decision just so he can get to see his grandchildren. Charles saying, look, I cannot do that, nor would I do that. It's outside my remit. I don't make decisions about royal security.
And Harry's team actually accusing Prince William of having somebody on the Ravik committee that is conspiring against him, and that is not true.
Of course it's not true.
This eventually led to Harry's spokesperson announcing that the family would not be traveling because the security arrangements were considered inadequate. That statement quickly sparked claims that Harry was trying to imply his own father had failed to ensure the safety of his grandchildren. The suggestion was that if King Charles genuinely wanted to see his grandchildren, he would have done everything possible to make sure they had the protection needed to visit. Critics argue that this strengthened Harry's long-standing narrative that Britain is not a safe place for his family. According to those critics, the situation was being framed in a way that continued to portray the palace as the villain in the story.
I don't believe for a moment Meghan was ever going to come to the UK, let alone London. And you know, everybody's talking about reconciliation, Harry reconciling with his father, his father seeing the grandchildren. Let's not forget Thomas Markle. Thomas Markle hasn't seen his grandchildren at all, although the king did in 2022, and he's never met his son-in-law. So, you know, is reconciliation on both sides.
Worth remembering that King Charles initially asked Harry about his travel plans and reportedly offered him accommodation when it appeared he would be visiting the United Kingdom with his family. However, Harry did not give the king a clear answer about his schedule. Reports later suggested that Harry first turned down the offer but then changed his mind and began making arrangements to stay at the palace instead. By the time he decided to accept the accommodation, the offer had reportedly been withdrawn. Some believe the palace had recognized what Harry was trying to accomplish and chose not to become involved.
Harry was setting the palace up to continue to pit them as the villains in this story. And then watching the way this is all unfolded today, watching you on GB News, watching you jump on Instagram and be like, behind the scenes, this is what's going on. It kind of solidified that feeling that Harry wanted to not get what he wanted so that he could go, look, I'm still the spare. I'm still the rejected son. My father doesn't love me.
According to reports, when King Charles first offered Harry a place to stay, Harry had not yet finalized his own private security arrangements. Before accepting the invitation, he wanted to make sure those plans were fully in place. It was only after that process had been completed that Harry officially accepted the king's offer. Harry's team argues that the palace did not give him enough time to respond and withdrew the accommodation unfairly. Others, however, view the situation very differently. Palace officials reportedly believed that Harry was no longer interested in staying there. As his travel plans continued to change, staff repeatedly had to revise logistical and security arrangements. Those constant last-minute changes reportedly caused unnecessary disruption, and palace officials eventually decided they could no longer continue dealing with the ongoing uncertainty surrounding Harry's visit.
His father had extended an invitation to stay in one of the royal residences.
Which is true. His father had extended this invitation.
There was a deadline, ladies and gentlemen, because you can't just go, well, I'm going to go and stay at Buckingham Palace. The security and cleaning and all that sort of thing. Bits are open to the public.
It's not a Holiday Inn.
No, it's not a Holiday Inn. There's no fruit machine in reception. Been there a couple of times.
Meanwhile, Prince William is said to have reached the limit of his patience. Reports suggest he has become increasingly frustrated by the repeated public disputes, with every new controversy creating yet another distraction for the royal family. If Harry is trying to portray King Charles in a negative light, William would likely see it as another attack on the institution itself. He is also believed to remain deeply hurt by the Oprah interview, Harry's memoir, and the series of interviews that publicly criticized the royal family while revealing private family matters. According to reports, seeing Harry once again accuse the institution of failing to protect his family has only added to William's frustration. Sources claim that William is furious, and that many other members of the royal family share those same feelings.
The truth is, he responded with a rejection on Saturday, and they said, great, we're taking that information back to the team. He came back later on Saturday and said, I changed my mind. I just want to come for one night. And they said, you missed the deadline. And we were planning, we had a team, we were putting a team together for a family of 4, plus some, whoever else they wanted to bring. And now we're not going to readjust at the last minute for one night for one person.
Rather than accepting responsibility for his own choices, Harry repeatedly places himself at the center of the story as the person who has been wronged. According to his critics, this approach often has the opposite effect, making it seem as though he is creating many of his own problems instead of simply being the victim of them.
William is furious. The rest of the royal family are furious, and I think from what you were saying about what the king is now saying, quite clearly King Charles, a gentle soul who doesn't like confrontation, is seething.
Despite everything that has happened, Harry continues to present himself as the victim. Buckingham Palace then reportedly replied that it was too late because, from a logistical standpoint, it was difficult to arrange all the necessary staffing at such short notice. King Charles also finds himself in an extremely challenging position. If he decides to help Harry, he risks being accused of giving his younger son special treatment. If he chooses not to help, he is portrayed as an uncaring father and grandfather. Either decision can lead to another wave of negative headlines, leaving the king in what many believe is an impossible situation. Royal commentators also argue that public sympathy for Harry may be starting to fade. The ongoing family disputes are beginning to overshadow his charitable work, and there are growing concerns that the Invictus Games could become more closely linked to royal drama rather than the injured veterans the event was originally created to support.
Horses, Prince Harry isn't staying. The reason being is because Harry formally declined that invitation on Saturday morning. Then later on in the day, Buckingham Palace says, he changed his mind and said, no, I am going to stay in Buckingham Palace, thank you very much.
Well, hey, I'll tell you who else. Let me tell you who else is seething right now, Kevin. The Invictus leadership. This trip was supposed to be about the veterans. This trip was supposed to be a kickoff to the 1 year in Birmingham for the Invictus Games.
And there you have it. What appeared to be nothing more than a routine visit to the United Kingdom has been described by Kinsey as a carefully planned media strategy from beginning to end. From the announcement about his family to the security controversy and the week of public speculation, she believes none of it happened by chance. What do you think? Did Harry deliberately use his own family to influence public opinion? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know where you stand on the debate.